Welcome to today's tutorial. I'm going to make 3 cards from one sheet of 12 by 12 inch pattern cardstock. Now this is not my idea. I actually watched a tutorial on the Creative Fabrica site where the person doing the crafter creating the card did a great job. She created some lovely embellishments and the cards just looked so pretty when she'd finished. However, she did not use a scan and cut. She used a scoring board, cutting board type scenario, and various punches to create the card, which gave me the idea that actually you could make it with your scan and cut still. So what I've done is I've put together a pattern that was very similar to hers, just to see how we went. And I'll just bring it in and bring this one in, which is the SVG version. Now it will resize to fit the screen slightly, and so you'll see the warning imported was resized automatically, but it's resized all the pieces, so that's not an awful thing. I did create an FCM file with it as well, which creates more objects on this right hand layers panel, which is perhaps a little bit more confusing for anyone who is new to the scan and cut. So I'm going to use the SVG version. Now what you can see on here is the 3 cards. So there is, it's actually a little bit hard to see, but there's one card there, another card in the middle here, and another card at the end here. And then we have some scallops for decorative purposes and some little butterflies, and this tab here at the bottom and some spare space, which we could create more embellishments if we wanted to. But this was just a bit of an experiment, or not even an experiment, it was just really to show you that even though you see cards being made manually with scoreboards and cutting boards or scissors or X-Acto knives, however they're made, the punches, various methods, that you still can convert those ideas and use them with your scan and cut. So we'll send this design to the cutter and I'll see you in a moment there. At this point, before we go over, I just want to point out that you could add some more embellishments or designs to this just to make it a bit more creative. And also you're not restricted to just using the one sheet. This is just to show you can use one sheet. You can add to the cards using other materials and other cardstock as well. So it's just basically showing what can be done, and in particular converting a non-scan and cut idea into using it with the scan and cut. Anyway, let's export it over to the machine and cut it out. And the other thing that got to export and transfer via the internet. And okay. So the other thing I will point out too is that when I went to go and choose my cardstock, I didn't have a great choice. So I've picked some ordinary looking card. I think I should have just perhaps chosen white, but then you wouldn't have seen the two-sided and the concept. So never mind. It's a concept. I'll see you over at the machine. So now we're at the machine, and I've just put my cardstock on my mat, and scroll you up here so you can see. Straighten you up a bit. Okay, and we'll retrieve the data, and I've sent it over Wi-Fi. If you've pulled it in from your machine, USB, or you hooked up your computer, it'd be one of those, but this one's the Wi-Fi. Bring that data in, and you can just see the pattern there, and it's a 12 by 12 pattern, so I don't really need to scan the mat. Normally I would just check where my paper is, or my cardstock is, or my materials with that little icon there, but I don't need to do that because it's going to take up all of it. So we'll go OK, and we're just going to choose cut. Now if you wanted to, you could change the dashed lines in this pattern to draw lines and do them as scoring if you don't like the dash, but I've got dashed in this. And you can see the various pieces. A bit hard to see where the lines are, but you can see the shapes here and the butterfly here. And we will go start. Make sure your half cut is off. And we will go start. And it's about 4 minutes cutting time, so I'll probably speed this part of the video up just because it's a bit slow, 4 minutes. And I'll just scroll back down here a bit. So it's done a small cut all the way around the outside edge. You can take that out if you wish and work from there. It just lined, for me it has lined up the edge of the lines that I've created, but you're certainly welcome to adjust the pattern if it suits you better. And of course the paper I've chosen perhaps wouldn't have been my first choice, but that's I went through my stocks and went, oh, I haven't got that much to choose from for this type of card, but never mind. I've used double-sided cardstock. It's a little bit thicker than some of my other cardstock I've got that's patterned. But being double-sided, it gives you the opportunity to have both sides showing. It's a fun pattern because it makes these 3 cards out of one sheet, which is pretty nifty, I reckon. So we've got a gatefold card and a half fold card and also a trifold. Well, I think what's called a trifold or a tent card maybe is what it's called. Not really sure what that card's called. I'll show you in a minute. You can see my paper's rising just a little bit for some reason. My mat's been a little bit buckled. Looks like it's gone in a bit skew with too. Never mind, should turn out okay still. And you can see there's a where my whole of my cardstock is, so that's I've tried to avoid that. So we've got 2 3-inch scallops and a 2-inch scallop. Probably could get 3 3-inch scallops if it's suited. And some little butterflies. You can add different embellishments if you wish. Okay. So we'll just pull some of these cards off. So you can see the double-sided card there. Sometimes if you just bend the mat a little bit, it helps it lift up, or you can use your scraper as well. And the most trouble I'm going to have is with these little butterflies probably. No, maybe not. There we go. Okay, there's the little butterflies. Okay, we'll see you back in a moment. So here are all the pieces cut out, and this is my piece of scrap. So you could actually still get some more embellishments out of these leftover pieces or something cut out of these. Depending on your pattern, you could cut some of these shapes out with your scan and cut, scan it and scan it and cut it. Amazing. We've got 3 cards out of one piece of paper. One 12 by 12 inch piece of paper. Now I know I'll just get my glasses just because I can't see the score lines either. And you will have trouble seeing the score lines, but what I've got is a score line there and a score line there. It's no easier on there. So this one's a gatefold. So you can choose which side you want your pattern to be. You might go that way. My pattern just overlaps a little Go whichever way you want, whichever way looks the best. And what we're going to do for this one is to put a shape on it to close it. So we've got one 2-inch and two 3-inch circular shapes there. So we could choose whichever one of these we wanted to put on here. And I think that size might be the size we'll go with. Now, I don't normally use my zig glue. This is the zig glue I normally use to re-glue my mat. I don't normally use it for creating my cards. However, I'm going to give it a go because I was watching one of the other crafters and she uses this one all the time. So I thought, well, only one way to find out, isn't there? About the halfway mark. This probably isn't the pattern I would have chosen, but I haven't had a chance to go to the shop to get some different patterns, and the ones I had, this was the best of a bad bunch. That's the only trouble with having packs of patterns, is that sometimes you don't, you're left with the ones that aren't your favourite. So often I will print my own from digital paper, often off of Creative Fabrica, or download some digital paper and print it. But of course I don't have a 12 by 12 inch printer, so you really have to buy pattern paper for this sort of project. So that's our first one. We could cut a square and pop in here and write a sentiment in there too. Now this one is a straightforward single fold. We might fold it that way. And I think we'll go with that design there. So we'll pop that there. Actually, I might use some poppers for this one. So these are sheets of foam tape, tiny little squares on it. We'll put a few squares on this to give it a bit of depth. You can get these in all sorts of sizes. These are really tiny ones I bought for a bit finer projects. Probably this particular one I would choose bigger. However, these were handy in my selection. So basically you stick them on and then peel the backing off. I know lots of people do this so much easier looking than I do, but never mind. We'll just pop that down, maybe that side to the left a little bit. This one here, I've got a couple of butterflies, so I might use one of the butterflies. Give that a bit of a bend, both sides. As I said, this probably isn't the paper I would have chosen if I had a choice of lots of paper, but never mind. I might let that stick before I fold it anymore. Just want to glue the centerpiece, not the wings, down so it gives a bit of a flap. Alright, we'll put that aside and let that dry. I'd actually like, this is a little bit patterned for me for this front bit, I'd actually like to put another little circle in there of white with a sentiment on it, so it's sort of like a double layer. But this is still all out of the one piece. And next we have this one, which has got a fold line here. Not sure which way to fold this one. We might fold that this way. And what we'll do with this piece is pop it here, just a little bit away from the edge. Once again, I might use the foam tape, put a few dots along just to give it a bit of depth. I'd normally use longer pieces for this. However, I don't have any, so we won't. We'll just use these little fine ones. These fine ones I really like for doing mandalas, which is probably one of my favourite paper crafts. And we will get the protective top off them so we can stick them down. I must go and buy some more wider pieced. I might go where it's naturally falling. Press it down a bit more. And we could once again put another shape there to write on, a white banner type shape. And we've got this one here, which is a flower. Pop it that way. I'll just put some glue on. 1/2 only. And pop it in the centre there. Could put foam tape under that to give it a bit more depth if you wanted to. However, I'm just going to stick this one down. Now we have another butterfly here. We could have put it on any one of the projects. Really, we could put it anywhere we wanted to. Put it on the outside of that one. Let's hold it for a minute while it sticks. It will sit flat like that to pack to post. Now I might go off and have a look for some diamantes and things because I've got some of those to dress it up a bit further. But you get the idea. Then you just embellish away however you would like. It's pretty amazing really that you can get 3 cards from one sheet of paper. And you've got a bit extra to play with. All right, talk to you again soon. See ya.